Oh my gosh, hello, my little weirdos. Crazy day to almost finish a crazy fucking week. So, you want an update? I know I look like shit. First of all, my hair is not doing what I want because it needs to be bleached. You can't see it as much with the blue, but I haven't got. But I may have it. I may get my SSI tomorrow, and he said it would be for the entire month. You better be right. So we went. My caseworker came about 2:30. That too, and we went to because they close at 4 at the Social Security before I went food shopping. Now, when I go food shopping, I shop at ShopRite, and I go on my desktop a day or two before, and I do the shopping like you would do it, filling it out for if like you're doing an online order to be delivered. But I don't order. I just leave it as a shopping cart. And then when I go shopping, I on my phone I have the ShopRite app on there, and I open that up and go to my cart, and then I just remove each item as I shop. So it tells me how much it should be because I've gone through all the online coupons to clip and gone through all the week ads, so I know what's on sales and stuff. And I can just go through my list and I don't have to write it down or anything. Plus, I can show it. It's like, where's this? Um, so we went, and like I told you before, the Social Security, I mean, the security officer that works at Social Security, it's not through Social Security, it's a security, company. And they were told apparently recently not to take any piece of paper, anything from anybody, from any client. Social Security people didn't know that they stopped doing that. So the guy yesterday on my earlier video, like the guy that I talked to yesterday morning, told me, like I said on that one, to bring the marriage and the divorce paperwork and ask the officer to please give it to an agent because anyway, go in, and he says I'm not allowed, and I'm like, and I frustration cry instead of when I'm frustrated because I know I'm not wrong, and I'm just being run in circles by different people, and I get frustrated when I know they're lying or I'm correct, instead of getting angry, because that doesn't help. I try to stuff it up, and I wind up tearing up because I'm just so fucking frustrated. Yeah, and I hate that because it looks like you're just a little opportunistic, little, oh, I'm gonna girl cry. And it's not that. And I get even more frustrated. It's been like that my whole life. And people misinterpret it sometimes. And I was just like, but the guy, this is what he told me. He goes, you need to make an appointment. I said, but the guy specifically said he doesn't want to give me an appointment because it's not necessary to waste an appointment for this. Because it needs to be taken care of. It's your guys' fault. I mean, it's your fault and it has to be fixed immediately. He told me that. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm just like, my case manager was still, I had gone up while he was parking the car. And I was just like, the option was to put those papers, the originals, in their envelope, and what they'll do is when they'll get, and then they'll mail it back. And I had told the guy on the phone yesterday, I know, because it's a good chance it'll get lost. It happens in the complex all the time. I just told you. in 1 week, I got 4 different people's mail in my box. So I know my shit's not showing up. Some of it's that I was told was sent and I never got something. And he says, well, that's how we'll do it. I'm like, but this guy said to please. And I was just really frustrated. I was just like, I don't want to leave that stuff there. I can't be guaranteed I'm going to get it back. Do you know what a pain in the ass it's going to be? And not to mention it'll cost me money, but it wouldn't cost that, you know. Just at that time, the back door opens, and one of the agents, she comes out, and she's like, she just wanted to tell everybody, because they close at 4, she just wanted to make an announcement that if you don't have an appointment and you're here hoping that maybe you can get squeezed in or something's canceled, she goes, there's probably a good chance if you don't have an appointment today that you're not going to get in, because everybody has signed in for their appointments. So unless somebody is really fast, you're not going to get in today. So I just want to let you guys know, so you don't waste your time. And the security officer was walking up to her. She's talking, so I follow, because I assumed he was gonna say something to her. And he just looks at me. I was like, oh, okay. And I told her, and she started saying, no. Now, I know my voice carries, and it's also a distinctively recognized voice. Believe me, that's not always good. And my voice carries. Even, you know, when people are excited, or they're upset, or they're scared, their voice gets louder. Well, when my voice gets louder, it sounds like I'm yelling, and I'm not, if I'm just upset. And people are like, ma'am, stop yelling. I'm like, I'm really not yelling. I promise you, I'm not yelling. When you're upset, you can't whisper. You know? I mean, and this is my normal voice. It's seriously frustrating my entire life when you have to deal with on the phone. Because they don't see your face, so they think you sound like you're yelling. And when you're not, it's like, how am I going to tell you something if I have to whisper? You know? And there's only a difference between talking low like this, and if you think this is yelling, then all I can do is this, and this is a whisper to me. And sometimes those two things come in handy. The voice carrying, when I really want to open my lungs, I'm not kidding. Adult men, halfway down the block, when I opened my lungs, if I yelled, stop, their heads whip around. It came in incredible, oh, hello, puppies. It came in a lot of use when I worked at the prison. When there was an incident and they needed loud, sometimes they would relieve, they'd go get Jameson so she can, shut him up, because nobody ever was yelling. They could hear me, trust me. And if I've got a bullhorn or a loudspeaker, when I worked at Burger King as a youth, if I worked up front, they turned my mic off. I'm not fucking kidding. You sit there and laugh, but they did. One sec. Okay, I'll give you an update on Raspy. This is so good. So anyway, while I was like, I started tearing up, but you could hear it in my voice, and I was frustrated. I'm like, I don't believe this. It was totally your fault, and he promised me. He told me not to do an appointment. He said he's not giving me one. What am I supposed to? And I was just really upset. And the woman was like, and just as that happened, I was waiting for them to say, I was having to resolve myself that I might have to leave these items and just pray I get them back. And just as I was starting to resolve that, I'm just like, I don't trust that I'm going to get them mailed back to me. And he told me he needed to expedite them, but he had to know they were here. And just as I was saying that, a guy comes around behind the woman, and he says, that was me. He looks at the officer, so, because the security officer, we both look because we see somebody coming. And he goes, that was me. I talked to her. I was the one that talked to her. He said, yeah, and he said, give me them. So I handed it to the officer, and they handed it to him through past her. And he says, just go ahead and wait. He goes, I did tell her that. And he said, well, and the officer said, we're told not to take anything. He goes, I didn't know that. I was like, oh, God. And afterwards in the car, my caseworker's like, yeah, that sucks, because if they don't tell the Social Security people that they told their officers not to do that anymore, that's putting me in the client in a spot, because he wouldn't give me an appointment because it was wasting it, when you could just come in and tell me real quick. Because they don't need any the stuff anymore. And he knew I didn't have a car. And they didn't want to hold them, so I can come get them. They would just put him in the, And I thought he was just verifying them and then would give them back to me. But he was gone like 20 minutes. He finally came back out the door and he handed me stuff. He goes, I just processed. I was like, oh, is that why it was taking a while? He goes, yeah. I said, I figured you would just verify the paper. He goes, I wanted to process it while I had them and get it done. He says, so I wanted to get it done because I wanted to go in. I get it in time, I believe. He goes, it should go in tomorrow. I said, so before the weekend? He goes, I'm hoping. I got it in before. That's why I want to do that. He goes, I heard your voice and I recognized it. I said, he goes, yeah. I said, well, sometimes your voice carrying when you aren't trying for it to. Thank God it does this time. So things that are sometimes not necessarily a curse, but a challenge, was actually a blessing this time. Because if I hadn't, and I don't want to say I was a semi-Karen, but if I hadn't pressed it and said, no, I'm not lying, this is what he said, and if I wouldn't have been persistent, and if my voice had not carried, and if my voice wasn't so recognizably different, all those three things, he wouldn't have heard me. If he had been going to the bathroom at that time, he wouldn't have heard me. But he heard me. And he came out, I was like, oh my God, you're the one I talked to yesterday. He goes, yes, I am. So what he said was, he goes, okay, now you will get, I said, will I get all of June? I said, retro for the first, he goes, yeah. It'll be all of June, you'll have SSI. In July, you should have no reason, one of those, either you or your ex-spouses, one of you, whichever one is higher, you should be approved for it. So that should start in July. But you're not getting kicked off of this until that happens. I was like, okay. I said, because I even looked at because I have that, SSA.gov, your Social Security account type of thing. I hadn't been on it for so long last week, and I had looked, and I told him, I said, because I even looked on my SSA.gov account, and it didn't it said it was, this was denied and that one was done, but it never, when you click it, it doesn't give you any reason. You hit learn more and it doesn't say it. He goes, I know. That's what I was looking at. I was into that too. I said, yeah, because you were gone a long time on the phone yesterday. He goes, yeah, I know, I left you for a long time. I wasn't even sure if you're still going to be on there. He said, but I was looking through all of that and I saw nothing, so you wouldn't have known, number one, but you shouldn't have been kicked off of the SSI at all, and you should have been approved for at least your own Social Security. He says, so we triple failed. I don't know what happened here, but we didn't tell you we needed something. I told him, because when I first called me in March, I gave him all the dates. I just didn't have the paperwork. I said, can't you get that verification? She said, we should be able to, and we'll send you something if we need you to provide it. Actually, the paperwork. I was like, okay, but he had all the dates, his birthday, his death date, my birthday, our wedding date, our divorce was the only, I didn't know the date of it. I knew the year, but not the date. I knew it was at the beginning of the year, but I thought it was like 2001 or something, and it was. But that's all they had to find out. They had everything else. There's no way they couldn't have found that out. Why? I asked him why he goes, yeah, she was right. they normally can, unless he goes, but if we couldn't, they should have notified you that you do need to find those and bring them in. And I said, but they didn't. He goes, no, I see, they didn't. So for once, having a deeper female voice, and believe me, in the corrections, I got shit from the inmates as well as the officers. You know, 1-900 Jamie, because my last name, my married name was Jameson. I'm like, WTF? You know, it's like, really? And even the officers would, oh, who was that 1-800 number or 1-900 number all night long on the radio? I'm like, well, if you got off listening to me on the radio all night, then maybe you owe me some money, huh? They all got real quiet because it was overtime. I was working at a unit that I wasn't assigned to, so I didn't know the officers, and they didn't know me. But they didn't think I heard them. Now the update on Raspy. I think he's got a little bit of both. I think he's older. I think he's hurting some, but I also think he's a little constipated. But he's not eating a lot. He is drinking. I saw him up on the counter. I saw him up on the sink yesterday and the day before. So it's not like he was. But you have to remember, I'm working the election. I'm going to be gone like from before dawn to after dark, because you can't leave when you're working it. It's 16 hours. And I was freaking out about the money for the Uber. I should have it by Tuesday. My sister helped out. So I used that to get some lickables at the store and to pay the phone bill so they didn't shut it off because they were being dicks and it was less than $20. And I was able to reserve the ride for Tuesday. So I had that. Because that was before. She sent that to me this early morning. Because that was before I went and knew that it might actually come in onto my bank tomorrow. So, fucking nutso. If it does come in tomorrow, then I can order, I'm out of garbage bags, but I can pay my sister back, and I can order the hair bleach. If it comes, Monday, I can actually dye it. I bleach my hair Monday night, and just do the rainbow and early, I might get it. Or if it comes in tomorrow, the money, I might be able to even get it Saturday. I don't know. I'd pay the extra $3 to get it rushed if they get it here. Just because I wanted to have my hair rainbow, I do it every June. And I work the elections, plus then on Saturday is the protest, and I wanted it. Because it is Pride Month. And some of my signs say, no kings, just queens, or no kings, only queens. And I got a picture of a queen with a rainbow cape. You've seen them. And I want to have my rainbow hair, and I was all like stretched. I know that's the last thing, but, when I need to get, my hair is oily. So the bleaching actually dries most hair out, but it just makes mine normal. It takes that excess, oil sometimes. So when it starts growing in, it's just, it sits flatter, than it does. So hopefully I will be able to do that. But it has been a crazy fucking thing. And I wouldn't have been able to get that Social Security and actually talk to the guy today that I talked to on the phone yesterday. Like I said, if my voice was not so fucking loud, even when I was trying not to, he heard it and he recognized it. And when I said, but he told me yesterday to do it this way, he wouldn't give me an appointment. That's when he's like, oh, that was me. That was me. I talked to you. I was like, oh my God, thank you. And I did. I was like, thank you, thank God. Because I wasn't lying, and I know it sounded like I was. The officer was like, kind of like, he was trying not to be that way, but I can see, and that's why I was getting so frustrated. I could see it really looked like, but he did remember me because I was there Monday. I said, do you remember me? He because of the hair. I said, do you remember me? And I said, I have the. He goes, I do remember you. So that was the other thing. He was the same one. He remembered that I was already there. So, but anyway, that worked out actually a fast resolution if it gets through tomorrow. That was actually a lucky and a fast resolution, and I'm aware of that. What some of you all are going to be going through or are going through, and there was people of color there, and I was just I while I was waiting after I had did my little no please listen, I said, I was kind of like, I looked at them and I looked at the others like, I know I sound like some white Karen, but I'm not. He really did talk to me, and I kind of smiled. I'm like, because I kind of felt like, yeah, if I wasn't white, maybe that wouldn't have happened. But the guy on the phone didn't know what color I was. He had no idea. I mean, unless he looked at me, at my race. But, on my full file. But, I was very cognizant that I had that feeling like, yeah, she got that fixed rather quick. We're still sitting here. She just walks in and cries and, yeah, walks out with it all fixed up. And the guy comes out for her. Didn't do that for us, and I know I'm thinking all this. I'm just like, oh, that probably doesn't look right. Because I'm sure not everybody was listening to my story, when I was talking. So my back was to the room. So I don't know how much anybody heard. And I just thought to myself while I was waiting, man. And as I walked out, it occurred to me. It just looked very. I could see how it could look like that, and I had walked out grateful because I know what happened was legitimate. It's not like I got favor, because I was crying, a white woman tears, thing. It was legitimate because he did tell me to do that, because that's all they needed. And there was no reason to make an appointment for me to pick up paperwork, because they normally mail it, but they can't. You know what I'm saying? And I was so cognizant of it, and it upset me. Not that other people might have thought that, oh, she had used her white privilege thing, but that it could have been a situation like that. It could have been. If I was younger, or something like that, it might have been. It could have been in a different situation. And it just really hit me because I was like, I was here Monday and I was calling them yesterday. It's not like I just, walked in and they kind of went, hopefully they understood that I was feeling guilty just because of the situation, not because I've been unfair to them, but I know other people have been very unfair to them just because of the color of their skin, and it upset me all over that mine got fixed so quick, but everybody else might not be listened as easily just because they're a person of color. And you say, well, they don't care. But you know what? The ICE officers, we found out, a lot of them, the reason their faces are covered, because they're January 6th rioters that the Republicans approved for them to hire as ICE agents. That's why. That's why those ICE agents look different. The ones that look like the stuff, the ICE stuff that you can buy on Etsy, that looks different than the regular normal. That's theirs. That's why. Yeah. And they're doing the same thing in the Social Security that they're doing it to deporting. People that are on it legally and legitimately are being kicked off for unknown reasons, and then they have to go through even more hoops to get back on because the people above Social Security have slipped shit in or cut shit or whatever, reworded shit or whatever. And I mean, some of these things, some of the agents, some of the Social Security agents don't even know some of the shit that's it's absolutely fucking insane dealing with Social Security. And mine was something that was just supposed to be a very simple issue. Put in for Social Security, put in for your ex's Social Security, and whichever one is higher that you're qualified for, they approve you. It has to be one or the other, and then you are taken off and removed from one and placed onto the from SSI on. That's the way it's supposed to go. You're not supposed to like apply to two, get denied for both and kicked off of what you're on, even when you're qualified for what you're on and you're still qualified for one of the SSs. But what the fuck? Yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. And they don't know, even if I had gotten my mail, all of it in the right month, not months later, none of that stuff, even all that stuff that I've gotten so far, none of it even said anything. Like I said, it wasn't even what they wanted. What was I supposed to do? Am I supposed to contact you? Are you supposed to what? So, hopefully I have it tomorrow. Hopefully, now Raspy, I have this Miralax, and I put a teeny tiny bit. The reason when I first started I kept looking down is Mr. Raspy Pants. He has not for the last 2 days. He comes in here for 5 minutes and 10 minutes, and he's just been sleeping a lot. And I've just been stressing because after a certain point, it's too many days of this. The last 2 or 3 days, he doesn't even stay in here very long. He just keeps sleeping. And got a new air conditioner that was replaced instead of fixing the old one, so it's even cool in here now. Before, the air conditioner didn't work that great. Who was that? Which Kenny was that? But yeah, when I looked down at the beginning of this, Raspy came in. It's the first time in 2 days as he's actually like willingly come in. When I got home from shopping, before I even put any of the free, perishables and frozen stuff away, I got these licky things out. 4 of them. They split 4 of them, and I gave him most of it, so he got about 3. He just had two more, and then I split one of these ones, bigger ones, for both of them, so she's not feeling left out. Although she doesn't understand that he needs those for his tummy, but he's got a good dose, and if I get that money, and I've got a bunch of them left for the weekend. So, if we get that money in my account tomorrow, I could order some more to be delivered with the hair bleach, and then I can have that before election day. So I will give him a bunch before I leave at 4:30 in the morning, and then as soon as I come home, I'll leave some out in case he wants to lick it in a couple hours. It'll be dry, but as soon as I come home, and that should be, and I'll leave him some other food. Hopefully, if I can baby him the next 3 days, it'll be good. And it was a good sign because after he ate those 3, he had a little more energy, a little more strength, and he actually got up onto one of the living room chairs, and I had put on the air conditioner higher, and he actually sat on the table for about 10 minutes, just like, I was like, yeah, it feels good, doesn't it? Feels kind of humid today. So that's a good sign. His fur still has a little shine. He still has a brightness to his eyes. He doesn't have that dull look that he has gotten a few times in the past when he was very critically sick with the constipation, with the intestine thing. So hopefully this last 2 weeks of me fucking stressing about him, about what the fuck's happening with the Social Security, all of this, hopefully if I get it in tomorrow, I will. Well, even if I don't, I'm still on the way to helping him because he was happy. There was something in those things. They're made to make them that sense of taste. Even if when they're sick or you're older, you lose your sense of taste and your sense of smell a little bit. It dulls a little bit, and So they have to have things extra smelly to entice them to want to eat. It happens to adults too. I've said this in other videos. And that's kind of what those, I call them lickies. They're lickables, but they know the word lickies. These are like this packet, and then they have these tube ones. And they usually have like, salmon and shrimp, krill and chicken. I mean, smelly things because, and then they put something to attract that, to make it more. And the minute he saw it, he started licking it right off the floor when I came home from shopping and Social Security. I mean, he was like, ah. And he hoovered up a bunch here, too. So it did what I needed it to do. And the only reason I was able to get those is my sister, Debbie. If it wasn't for Debbie and Jean, I would have been really fucked these last few days. My phone would probably be cut off because they're fricks. It was less than $20, but that's the way they are. But I wouldn't have gotten those. I would have gotten that. Oh, and what was left, since there was enough left, I have a reduced premium on like YouTube, and it's so much easier to do videos when you don't have all these fucking commercials. It's really, hard to gather information. That's another reason why I haven't been doing as much, because I can't gather as much, because I can't watch as much, because I just can't stand all the fucking commercials and having to skip them and shit, especially when you're all stressing out anyway. It's like, I don't need to listen to this shit, I don't need to hear any more shit. So, got what I need for working the election, because you have to bring all your food. So right now, I'm ordering some things on to be ordered, just like snack shit. Because what they had at the store, it just, yeah. I got some things, but, it's been wild. There is, if you have problems with Social Security, and this is one of the reasons, believe it or not, if I hadn't been watching, there's some different shows on YouTube here that give you Social Security tips and updates and stuff, and they're not just like 5 or 10 minute things. He goes into shit with you. So if you know you're going to be dealing with switching, either getting onto one of these Social Security or Social Security disability or supplemental type of things, or being switched from one to another, you might want to listen to some of those Social Security help channels. Because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have even been able to not freak out. You know what I'm saying? Just because I knew that they were going to have problems that it didn't look like the kind of problem they would have, like what happened to me. So it pissed me off, but I wasn't like shocked. I was just like, how does that fucking happen? But I wasn't shocked. I was like, oh, fucking knew something, because I knew it. I wanted to put it off. I asked them, can't we just, until everything's settled down? And they said, if you're eligible, we have to get you off of this and onto that if you're eligible for something else. I'm like, I didn't want to do it right now. Even though I'll get just a little bit more, 100 or something like that more a month. I mean, it's something, but shit's gonna go up real fast again. And I just, yeah. So, I'll let you know. But yeah, Raspy, at least he's not at that critical stage. I still am okay with going, especially now that I've got stuff for him. And if I get that money in, that's the other thing. If it is just joint hurting to, as well as maybe constipation, um, on Chewy, I had to postpone my order. Thank God I ordered more than I needed to last 2 months. So I still have regular cat food, and he's not eating much of that. Um, I cooked the salmon last week for him, trying to tempt him, seriously. Instead of mine, I gave it to him. Um, because he's family. Oh, another thing I found out, cats can eat like the pureed meats, baby food, and you can buy that with EBT if you need to give an older cat like something, because the as but make sure there is in the ingredients of those pureed meats, make sure there's not made with any onion or garlic, because that is toxic to cats. So just make sure, because some of those kind of pureed meats are like on the stage 2 and 3, and that's when they start putting a little bit of spice and stuff like that in. So as kids get older, um, and I was going to do that. I was going to get a couple. It was on my shop just in case, because jars, you get a spoonful. But then I was able to get the lickables, so it's insane. But I'll get more of that, so he'll be, fine. But yeah, you can use baby food. It's nuts. It is fuck. It feels like I know I look exhausted and I am tired. But I will tell you something. That older air conditioner, I've been here 3.5 years. This fall will be 4. And that air conditioner that they took out, it was old. It did not get cool enough in here because it's on the window over here. So the hallway, it has to go around out that side, across the apartment, and then down the hall to get down here. So I have this window cracked just a little bit to kind of do a draw thing. And when I got back from shopping, it was cooler in here than it's ever been before. And it wasn't even on high. It was set to like 68. So if you have a blazing hot, humid day and you want to set it to like 65 so it gets cooler in here, it will do it. And it's energy efficient. So it's a good thing. And it wasn't even it broke down. It still worked. It's just the knob stripped out. And it's so old they didn't have any replacement knobs. He's like, well, if we can't repair it easily, it probably needs to be replaced. So I got a brand new energy efficient fucking air conditioner yesterday. Silver linings, right? And it was just starting to get hot and humid too. Because on election night, after all of that, I am going to want to get home and fucking collapse after I give them some lickables. I'm going to fucking be exhausted. And I pray we don't have a lot of problems. Not as many people normally vote on non-election elections, but they are gearing for really harping to, as you know, they're fucking with New Jersey. It's one of the states that they're concentrating on to flip. I mean, they're hot and heavy, as you know, with ICE, with Delaney, ours was the first fucking mayor to be arrested, Congress people arrested. What the fuck? They are really coming down hard. The police would not allow the April 5th protest that was scheduled at Bedminster, and they're trying, and now I posted something. There's anti-King Trump, us Trumper, like the no kings. There's Trumpers that are planning to be there 4.5 hours, get there a couple hours before us, and be there a couple hours after us. And like only 10 people like said they're going to show up as far as the other day. But the point is, they're trying, and they're like, bring speakers, bring this, bring that. So they are really humping to I'm serious. It's like it's a fucking swing state right now. All the attention. We have a governor race. And if Mikey Sherrill our representative wins that race and we'll have a seat open. So they got a lot of fucking attention and they're hot and heavy to flip this. And we have one Trumper in the district that comes deliberately wearing everything he's not supposed to, and he knows it. And his dog. That's not a special needs dog. And the dog's trumped up. And he apparently comes every time. That was the first time I worked in that district last time. But apparently he comes every fucking time and always causes a problem. And I can imagine how much more emboldened he's going to be this time. If he, well, he probably will, because he's one of those. But, yeah, and then Saturday is the big protest. I do have a ride, the same gal that brought me to the other protest on the April 19th. I never got, they didn't have a big one in May, that I was able to get to, anything close by us. So that's about as much of an update on all things. I was gonna do a Raspy update and a Social Security update, and and I just thought, just put it all into fucking one, guys. Yeah. I am. I'm tired. I didn't even want to do this because I knew I'd be all wacky ass looking, like totally myself, more than you've ever seen, just because I'm just physically, I am just exhausted. You have to understand, it's not just the Social Security thing that's been stressing me out because I haven't heard anything, hadn't heard anything for these last 2 weeks. It's him, and that exhausts you too. Plus, I've been doing other shit. I've had the different inspectors, because you have a city inspector and a county inspector. Everybody has to go through these things if you live in apartments and shit. I've already done 2, and they had to come back for one thing. They would need to recheck it. And I got the garbage bags off the porch. You know what I was talking about, the patio, the balcony. And they wanted to come Tuesday to do the recheck. I'm like, sweetheart, there's no way. You can't. She was supposed to come today. I'm like, well, I never got anything in the mail. Again, I said, but normally it'd be fine, but my caseworker's coming because I don't have a car. She goes, right, I remember that. I said, to go food shopping because I got my EBT today. She goes, well, we're also doing rechecks. I said, can you do it tomorrow? I'll be here on Friday I will be here Friday. Or Monday. She goes, well, we're coming back on the 10th. I said, that's Tuesday. She goes, yeah. I said, honey, I'm working the elections. I'll be gone before 5 in the morning, and I won't be home till like 9 o'clock at night because they don't close the polls till 8. By the time we close everything down, I'm not going to get home till 9. And I don't know if I have cats, because I'd rather people be there, especially when there's animals. I was like, and I explained the only reason the tub, I can't get that unplugged yet because I don't have the fucking money to get any more drain cleaner. I used what I had. It's halfway unplugged, but I need more. I said, and I told her what was happening. She goes, oh, Lord. She goes, oh, hon, okay. She says, are you going to be there Thursday? And I was going to be, but then I have the food pantry. I forgot, but I'll see if they check usually the day before. I'll see if they can come like before 10 o'clock, or so we can get this done before he picks me up. It's seriously, right? The election, then nothing Wednesday that I'm aware of. And Thursday, and then Friday, the Mental Health Association, they're having their annual picnic, and I want to go because I need some break time. Maybe I'll even buy a cigar when we go to the pantry on the way home so I can have it for the next day. That'd be nice to have a cigar. Once the money's in, I can spend $1 or $2 for a little cigarella. Believe me, after all this, I need to kick back with a shot of vodka and cigarella on the fucking deck this weekend. um, and then the next day after that, that's Friday. Yeah, last year, if you remember, we were on the second heat wave. There was no way with the hot, with how I lived 32 years in Arizona, in Tucson. Um, that's near the border, and it got in the hundreds. I'd been there when it was 121. I think 123 was the hottest, maybe. But I know I was there when it was 121. And but the thing is, the humidity is not even 20%. It's like 10, 13, 17%. It's a lot different than when it's 84 degrees and like 89% humidity. The humidity is what drags you out. And you're just like, oh, God. You know? Looks like I got sun for some reason today. Um, so it's a very busy week next week, but hopefully everything, if he gets everything fixed tomorrow, then I can spend the day going through all the auto pay shit, all your subscription, all the crap that's been declined coming up in emails for the last 5 days. Decline payment, decline payment, decline payment, decline payment. It's very frustrating, especially when all of it's happening and it wasn't even essentially your fault that all of this is happening. So tomorrow, if we can get that money in there, if he's successful in getting it processed after midnight when it updates and it's done, then I can do that and I could not worry about any of that shit. Pay the rent when we do the food pantry next Thursday, and fucking be done with it. Try to get back to normal, and hopefully by then he's perking up and doing better, because this has been absolute fucking stressful chaos for weeks for me. And I haven't mentioned it. I didn't really mention too much to my caseworker. I really didn't mention a whole lot to my sister. I kind of haven't really done a lot of texting with my sisters, just in the last week and a half or two, because I have been so stressed, and I haven't done a whole lot of videos, or I haven't talked on any of this subjects, because I was so stressed when when it's on my mind. And I know that when that intensity stuff, it like other people pick it up. And I didn't want to be stressing them without, that's why I told my caseworker on the way home today after we got everything done. So the only reason I didn't tell you or my sister anything, because I didn't know if I was going to get what was happening. I didn't know until it wasn't there. And there was no point in telling you guys and stressing you guys out for a week or so, when there wasn't anything you could do. There wasn't anything I could do yet. I was trying. There wasn't anything more that either one of them could do. Until I didn't get the money and my sister loaned me the 50. Well, she gave me a card for 50, but like I said, so I could pay the phone and get some shit taken care of. Get him those things. But hopefully it looks like I can't have the thought of I can't lose him. He's 14, but he could still have quite a few years, even if he had a rough first few years health-wise, because he was a stray. I can still do it, he can still last longer. I mean, I know they don't live forever, but I owe that cat so much more than people think he owes me, because people think when he came to me that I was saving him from being a stray, but he was saving me by trusting me and not holding what other humans did before me against me. And he gave me the chance to trust me, and seeing how much he's trusted me over the years, over the 10, 12 years. especially after losing Rocky. I'm not sure I could have made it like I did if it wasn't for Raspy and Smudgy. But there was something that happened when he was nearly passed, when he nearly died right after my son passed. It was something when he was literally near death. He really was. Even the vet said it was something. He met my son in spirit because they nearly lost him. Um, Something happened. He was different. He was different. He trusted me because everybody had hands all over him, and he was so sick he couldn't do anything about it. And he started realizing that there were other humans, not just his mom. There were other humans that had loving hands. And he changed. That changed him. It changed him. And I'm not ready to lose that cat yet. I'm just not. I'm not. I'm never going to be ready for either of them. I was never ready for any of them. Um, but I need to. I need to keep him around quite a bit longer. So I'll do anything. I will go to the mat for my kids or my furry kids. And I've always been like that. Myself, my leg could be dragging. I'll get to it. But I will fight heaven and hell if my kids or any of my furry family ever need something. I'll fucking move the gates of hell for them. Because isn't that what being a isn't that what a parent aren't you supposed to be? The champion for the Of course you are. You're supposed to be their biggest cheerleader. Um and their fiercest defender. And that's one of the reasons why it was so stressful seeing him struggle, and I didn't have the fucking money for the last 5 days to help him. um, if any of you know what I'm talking about, if you've had to deal with something like that, and especially for an especially beloved pet, because all of them are, but every now and then there's a connection sometimes that just is different. You know, it's like a soul connection almost. It's like, I mean, I've had it with other animals than just cats too, and it's weird, but it's something that once you experience, you freaking treasure, and you hopefully understand how special that is, and that's Raspy, but it's been over the years, especially after what happened. He nearly died. And he was at the hospital for 4 days and 3 nights. But I came and got him. I came and got him like I told him I would. And I think that changed him. Because that was the second time. One time was when I was moving. They had to be boarded for 2 weeks because I had no place to put him. I was lucky to have a place between the apartments. This one wasn't ready yet. And that was the second time. And I had visited them halfway through a weekend. I would have been there every day if I had a car of my own. But this was another, he was gone again. And this time, but he wasn't with Smudge. It was just him, and he was feeling very sick. But Mommy came back. And they fixed him. And that changed him a lot. A lot. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so stuck on him, because that cat made incredible changes in trust of me. He flinched when other people's feet were near him, but not with mine from the start. Once I got him inside. He was terrified of hairbrushes, but over the years, he trusted me enough, and now he loves being brushed. He has put so much trust in me after whatever the hell he had his first 2 years of life. And when an animal that's been fucked over by humans gives you their trust, it's something special. It's something special. Um, does anybody else know what I'm talking about? And I mean, not just loving them as you're just my furry family, but like a special connection that you've had with an animal. It's really hard to explain because you don't want to put human emotions or express kind of thing onto an animal, but they were definitely different, after something happened. So anyway, yeah. So this has got to be maybe a freaking hour long. Maybe I should have done a shorter one. Um, yeah, that's just the update of everything and a little about what makes me tick. Um, Hopefully, if anybody has any Social Security issues, anything of these videos on this maybe give you some insight or hope maybe that you can get your shit sorted out. It's going to be frustration. So if you prepare for it to be frustrated, if it goes easier than you expect, that's a plus, right? And if you keep getting all this bullshit that I had to deal with, it's not like it wasn't at least expected. I didn't expect it. I asked them. They said there should be no problem. This will not happen, and it happened. So, just don't be surprised if shit happens that shouldn't happen. Is all I'm trying to say. And just keep asking, keep checking in, because don't trust them when they say if there's a problem, we'll contact you. Don't trust them. And it's not necessarily the people at Social Security that are trying to fuck with you. It's that shit's being fucked with them, being changed. So they're having a bit of a hard time too. So, take that for what it is. Have a great Thursday evening. And I know at least this will be the first evening that maybe I'll actually get a decent night's. I haven't been sleeping super well. I haven't been sleeping well at all. And hopefully tonight I'll sleep better. I love you guys all. If you've hung in this long, it's probably an hour long, then y'all like me. So, thanks. And hopefully I will be back to my old. Like I said, if all that shit comes in tomorrow and I can take care of all this stuff before the election, then I'll be a happy camper. I'll be able to do my hair. I already have taken Raspy, started with him, and I will be one effing happy camper. If everything comes in tomorrow, then everything should go as planned. Even the busy next week. If I don't have to worry about that, then I'm good to go. Except I forgot I had the pantry on Thursday. Case manager reminded me before we left, and that's what I told the inspection people to come to verify that. Remember the light, the alarm? You haven't heard that beeping, have you? Yeah. The fire alarm that everybody complained about beeping. You haven't heard that in in at least a week or two, right? Yeah, because I got that fixed 2 weeks at the beginning. Actually, it's been 3 weeks. I got that fixed, but it was still hanging because I couldn't. That new ladder that I was waiting for to change the battery. I couldn't reach all the way up to the ceiling to put it back in. I can reach it to kick it off now. But a very tall maintenance guy was in with the inspector the other last week, and I asked him, "Can you shove that back in there for me so I don't have to call maintenance to do it?" And he did it, and it's fixed. So, and the garbage is off the balcony. It was the only two things, that and the tub. But I can't get that unplugged until I have the money to get the stuff. But anyway, but I explained that to her too. So she's like, told her the whole story to the inspector too earlier today. And she was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's been an interesting few weeks." She says, "Oh God, I'm sorry." I can laugh now, but. And that, my little weirdos, is why you haven't seen a whole lot of me. And like I said, watching a bunch of videos on what's been going. It's just been so aggravating with a freaking 30-second ad every 4 minutes. But I got premium back there because I had enough left on that money my sister sent me, that $50, and I'll get that back to her before the weekend is over. If I get it in tomorrow. But yeah, I got the phone taken care of. I got the lickable things for him, and I still was able to do the ride for my thing, and yeah, so I covered all of that amazingly enough. Have a great Thursday. Have a great weekend. I'll see you before then, but you won't see anything from me on election day unless I do something after I get home and give them some, some stuff, some food, and because I'll be wound up. I'll be exhausted, but I won't be able to crash for a few hours because I'm just so wound up. So I probably won't pass out till maybe midnight or something on election night. So, I'll definitely probably see you then. But I'll probably see you before. I'll make some videos before. Oh, I've got peanuts and the screen is fixed so I can open the windows and in the morning, so I will be feeding them. And Monday, hopefully they'll trim the shrubs this time. But yeah, next time I video squirrels, you won't see that corner screen effed up. They replaced my screen finally. Yay! I know, everything goes to hell for like weeks, and then the silver linings, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, fuck. Okay, cool. I'll take it. I'm not complaining. I'll take it. If I get weeks of crap, and then you just get some good news, 3 bing, 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 bing. I'm good. I'm good with it. As long as I know my cat's okay, I can get to the election to work it, and I got a ride to the protest. I'm good. Already called the utilities and told them what had happened, and I'll get them paid. Just fucking bear with me. Just hang with me. Crazy shit, right? This is why the book of my life is called You Can't Make This Fucking Shit Up. It's not fucking shit. You Can't Make This Shit Up. That is the title of my book. And I've had that title of that book for well over 2 decades. You can't make this shit up. And every fucking year shows that title to be even more fucking so. My teletherapist, when I first started with her a year and a half ago, she was like, I said, I know it's going to sound like this, that shit always happens to me, and most of the time it's not even fucking my fault for it. I said, I know it sounds like a victim complex. You're with me long enough, you'll see. I won't have to say anything. And, over time, just like a few months ago, even before this stuff, I was like, right, something had happened. I said, when I was telling her, she goes, she just looking at me like that. I said, go ahead, say it, because if you don't, I'm going to have to say it. I fucking told you, right? Do you see what I'm saying? And she just sits there and laughs. I'm like, am I wrong? Am I just, is that not my perspective wrong? She goes, no, that's another crazy story. And I said, what did I do to bring that on? She goes, doesn't sound like anything. I'm like, so now it's kind of a running joke with us. Now it's just like, told you, can't make this fucking shit up. The fact that I'm not pessimistic perspective at this point at 62 is fucking, I'm either too stupid or too stubborn. I say it all the time. I'm too stubborn, and when I get knocked down on the mat, and there have been some things that have really knocked me down, but I'm just too stupid or I'm too fucking stubborn to stay down. I might stay down to the count of 1, 2, but, you know, I gotta get up. I gotta get up before you count me out. And that's either massive stupidity, or massive stubbornness. Or maybe both. I don't know. But anyway, gotta cut this shit off, or I'll just talk all night with y'all. That, you know what that is? That's because I'm starting to let some of that stress go. I'm starting to believe that maybe tomorrow it will be all fixed. And I'm kind of like not expecting it, but I'm kind of like, if it is, you know? It's just, I don't even know how to explain how all of this even fucking happened. Because the guy, the phone guy who rescued me today, even he doesn't know. He even said, he goes, I still don't understand what happened here. I said, well, did you ever watch Zoolander? He chuckles. And I did. I said, I have felt like I'm in Zoolander. Like, I feel like I'm in Crazy Town. Will Ferrell's character. He went, he was definitely younger than me. And I said, yeah, that's how I felt. It's like every day, it's like, I feel like I'm in Crazy Town. This person said this, but this one guy, the officer's saying no. This gal said this, and yet this woman said no. And they work at the same place. There's cubicles away. Yeah. Crazy. Y'all ever get shit like this happen to you? Maybe not necessarily that specific, but anything like that. Or any experiences, if you know what I'm going through with Raspy. It's like you're really not quite, because you know when you get older you also don't want to eat a lot, so it might not be constipation. Sometimes he might just be older and he needs that extra tempting food, you know. It's just your head's going round and round and round trying to figure shit out, and everything's pressing on you, and it's just everything needs attention right now. Everything's A1 importance. I'm like, and now I'm just now starting to feel, while I've been talking with you guys, that calm down. Now you have food in the house. The SNAP, the EBT was there. You got food. It's all put away. Oh, they had some gorgeous berries, strawberries. They were only like $2.99 or something a pack. Look at the size of these gorgeous things. Look at this shit. I mean, all of them are just fucking stunning berries. Look at this. Right? Look at these things. They're huge. They're beautiful. Oh my God, they smell good. Ooh, you can, oh wow. Guess who's having some strawberries? I bought 2 of them. So I gotta put one of them in a glass jar. If you put strawberries in a glass jar in the fridge, they actually don't get mushy like in a day or 2. But some of these are going to get cut up or something. So this weekend, I think, especially if I get the money tomorrow, then everything will be okay. If I don't, I won't have the hair bleached. You know, I won't have my hair the way I wanted it and everything. But that's minor shit. You know, minor shit. when you look at the big picture. However, if it does come in tomorrow, I will finally, it's not just half a, it'll be a full, you know. And now my account, my name, my folder is kind of like a flag of make sure this goes through this time. Make sure nothing happens again, type of thing. He even told me, he goes, I'm gonna check on it to make sure. I said, yeah, I was gonna ask if you. He goes, no, I'll make sure. Yeah. So, anyway, got these at ShopRite in New Jersey. I know they are so, and even the other bags. I put them in here because I don't want the cats to knock them over. Even the other one is the same, right? Guess who's gonna go have some strawberries? You would not believe, I can smell strawberries even through the box, even through the packaging. If you like strawberries, there's some beauties out there, at least in Jersey. Because Jersey does have farms, and you know. So that was one of the summer fruits. I was like, oh, we might not have, or they might be real expensive, but so far we've been pretty lucky. Oh, and they had blackberries or raspberries for $1.99 also. So, go get yourself some strawberries if you got some good ones in your state coming in, because those are. Peace out, guys. If you hung this long, thank you. And I really, really hope as little of you, everybody, has to deal with this much of the shit. Especially when you were clueless. You know, that makes it worse. It's like, it's not like you forgot and that's why, or you got it in too late or something. That I could say, God, I'm such an idiot. I can't believe I fucked that up. But, you know, you can only be so mad. But when you didn't do anything and you specifically asked to make sure shit doesn't happen, and it does anyway, it's where you can't comprehend it, you know, and you just lose it. And I was telling my caseworker, because he's a single guy, like, you know, he's older than me. And I said to him today, thing is, you know, people that are like a couple for a long time, they forget what it's like not to have another person there when there's a lot of stress. To be like, you know, to remind you, it's okay, stress out. I mean, that's not going to make it any better. Breathe. You know, even though you know, just, okay, get your shit centered. Okay, just, even though you know that, sometimes having a partner is remind you, hey, we can get through this. Just relax. Let's look at this. Wait, you know. And sometimes it's hard to do that for yourself all the time, especially when it's something like this. There's a few situations at one time. It gets overwhelming. And when you're yourself and there's no other person in the house, you have to be that person for yourself. And it's sometimes you forget. And that's why it's handy to have a other person. You see what I'm saying? And you forget to keep your shit centered. Nobody's telling you, calm down, just relax, you know. And that is one drawback of living without another human in the home. And I will admit that does suck. Sometimes just having somebody just to comfort you and say, that was fucked up, but you bad, man. You good, you know? You all right, man, type of thing. Every now and then we all need that. And it's kind of hard when you're single, you know, to get that. There ain't no one at home. Your dog, your cat, your bird, your snake, whatever, ain't gonna tell you that. Not in human words, anyway. Yeah. Pros and cons and everything, but that is a drawback sometimes. Not having somebody to bounce things off of, just like right here. Or be like, oh, I just can't wait to get home so I can just tell them what the fuck happened. So we can both go, what the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? It's not all the time. It's just every now and then. Every now and then, when shit like this, it would have been nice to have somebody just being like, big breath. Let's go fucking watch a movie for an hour. Let's just go watch something. You know? Oh, I can do that now that my Prime is back. Oh, I can finally do and watch a movie the last 5 days. It's been like a commercial in the middle of a movie while I'm trying to like relax in bed. I'm like, fuck that shit. You know? Oh, thank God. I forgot how nice it is. You guys have a wonderful Thursday. And if anybody has come up with any across any of this shit or anything like that, I'd like to hear about it. And I will keep you updated on Raspy. Believe me, I want him all spunky up here now too. I'm wondering if the heat also is kind of warm in here some of the last few days, until the air came in yesterday. But yeah, so that's perked him up, which is, I really didn't want that to be off because it's supposed to be hot, and election day would be gone all the time. I would be stressed with the windows open, that long, with me not here. Have a great one, and have a peaceful night. This is going to be my first I can breathe and like not be half tense, because I have been. I haven't fully relaxed in a few weeks. I fake it well. I'm going to tonight. Peace out, guys, and thanks for hanging in with me. I do appreciate you guys.